All right, guys, today we take the new 30 caliber 2025 Spec Karma Red Panda 100 foot-pound airgun all the way out to a distance of 100 yards, and we do it 8 times over and across 6 different types of pellet and slug. And we'll do it all on a custom universal tune I came up with. We'll even go on to validate that tune at a distance of 50 yards and across 3 different types of moderator. All that and much, much more coming up. AEAC is made possible by Air Venturi, Hawksport Optics, Diana Airguns, FX Airguns, Sabre Tactical, Hatsan USA, Leapers UTG Pro, Zan Projectiles, Air Marksman, and Predator JSB Match Diabolo. And you guys know the best way to thank them. Alright guys, now the Karma Red Panda comes to us from the DonnyFL Sabre Tactical Pellet Shop Ring. It was developed here in the United States by pro staff shooters, and final assembly is done right here in sunny Florida over at the DonnyFL headquarters in Orlando. The parts themselves are machined in China. Now the 2025 Spec Karma Red Panda measures 45.5 inches long and weighs in at a deliberate 22.6 pounds as you see it here, full of air and with a scope and bipod. By itself and full of air, it weighs 18.2 pounds. The rifle itself takes advantage of M18x1 threads carved into the muzzle so that you can affix your favorite moderator. A first of its kind 1 in 24 twist bull barrel, a non-baffled shroud, a massive 700cc air reservoir spread across 3 chambers, that is refillable to 300 bar, a big 70cc plenum that rides along next to the main air tube, and 2 externally adjustable 193 bar regulators. Designed to work in tandem with those 2 regs is an externally adjustable hammer spring dial and readout, and a well-marked transfer port adjuster. The whole thing is nestled into an insanely rigid Sabre Tactical-like chassis, touting loads of M-LOK, Picatinny, and Arca Swiss rail real estate. It's even got 30 MOA built into the receiver. The gun takes advantage of slick side lever cocking, 3 pressure gauges, 2 for the regulators and 1 for fill pressure, an incorporated bubble level, a very adjustable dual stage match grade trigger, a vertical saber grip with removable thumb pad, an adjustable comb, butt pad, length of pull, and bag rider. Oh, and you even get 2 ultra nice all metal magazines. So in case you haven't been following along in recent years, Thane Simmons and his dad Val Simmons are the owners and inventors of Sabre Tactical. And these 2 guys had a lot to do with the development of the Karma Red Panda. In 2023, Thane took a prototype Red Panda to the Pyramid Air Cup in Ohio, the Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge in Utah, and the Extreme Bench Rest event in Arizona. In the 100-yard bench rest, he took first place in all 3 events that year, earning himself $20,000 at the Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge, $7,500 at the Pyramid Air Cup, and $7,000 at the Extreme Bench Rest, for a total of $34,500 in winnings with the Karma Red Panda in 2023. Needless to say, he got the industry's attention, and mine too. In 2024, Thane returned to the Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge to do it yet again, and in the process set an all-time professional air rifle 100-yard bench rest world record score of 240 with 8 X's, earning himself an additional $20,000. For a total of $54,500 earned in less than 2 years with this rifle. So it was in the summer of 2024 that I reached out to DonnyFL and asked them if I could review the Karma Red Panda. And thank goodness the answer was yes, and here we are. Even though it weighs in at 22.6 pounds, the Karma Red Panda can be a handful as it easily generates over 100 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. aggravating the lengthy dwell and lock times air gunners have to cope with. This ain't like shooting your 22 or 25. To get the accuracy out of it, I'd like a moderately weighted shoulder, an extra firm grip, and I'd keep my cheek out of it. Also important is to preload the bipod as you saw me just do, applying equally distributed pressure everywhere across that shoulder touch point, an exaggerated follow through, and a very square, quick, snappy trigger pull. Do all that and it'll easily group well for you. That little bit of movement in the group was actually caused by me. The hardware itself wants to shoot half inches at 100. Here's the flight data, guys, on these Zan Projectiles BR100 56 grain pellets as provided by the FX Airgun's True Ballistic Doppler Radar Chronograph. And this is on my universal tune, which we'll get to in a minute. The pellets are leaving the muzzle at about 905 feet per second and holding on to 724 of that 100 yards downrange. Exiting foot-pounds of energy is about 102, and arriving foot-pounds of energy is about 65. The extreme spread across those 5 shots is just 2 feet per second, with a standard deviation of 0.63 feet per second. Average ballistic coefficient, 0.068.
I can't believe you're walking towards me. You think I'm gonna feed you? Honey, I got nothing but lead over here. You are one bold duck.
If you want to learn how to tune your Red Panda on your own, I offer 2 very thorough and very advanced tuning guides that will not only take you through the steps of how to go about it, but will also teach you the why behind each step so that you can get really, really good at it. The approach and lessons learned therein will apply to any PCP airgun. It doesn't matter the make or model. Their methodology is what I use to tune my Red Panda. And at their core, they'll teach you how to extract the maximum accuracy and efficiency out of any airgun, and do it with pretty much any ammo. So I'll leave you links to them in the description down below. So for our Karma Red Panda here, I wanted to come up with one single universal tune that worked across a broad spectrum of ammo. A single tune that would shoot both pellets and slugs well at 100 yards and across multiple brands. And I wanted to see if I could increase the gun's efficiency too, as well as improve the snappiness of its shot cycle. All things that lead to enhanced accuracy. Here's a peek at the out-of-the-box OEM tune. It's designed to shoot the AEA 50.5 grain pellet to about 965 feet per second. A pellet that's reported by the manufacturer to be the best overall fit for this gun. This off-the-shelf tune pushed a JSB 50 grain pellet to an average of 966 feet per second. Achieving 60 shots on the flat line with an extreme spread of 24 and a standard deviation of 4.42, and had a bizarre little Reg 1, Reg 2 double spike handoff that was always present. The JTS 45.06 grain pellets are leaving the muzzle at a rule-breaking 985 feet per second, and they're holding on to about 755 of that 100 yards downrange. Leaving foot-pounds of energy is 97, and arriving foot-pounds of energy is 57. Across the 5 shots, the extreme spread was 3, and the standard deviation was 1.17. Average ballistic coefficient across the string, 0.056.
You just gonna hang out with me or what?
Alright guys, now my Red Panda came to me with a single stage trigger that was long and light and mushy and vague and gave no indicators as to when it was going to let off. And not knowing any better, I shot it in this condition for the first 1,000 or so rounds as I learned my way around the gun and got through the tuning. And then I kind of thought to myself, that doesn't seem quite right. So I phoned a friend, Adam Michael, who's been shooting the Red Panda in competition, and he was like, oh, no, it's not supposed to be like that at all. Mine is an amazing dual stage match trigger that's as good as anything I've ever shot. So in search of answers, I went to the DonnyFL YouTube channel, and lo and behold, I found a video there that teaches the end user how to adjust the trigger to their liking. And I'm happy to report that after implementing the lessons learned therein, I now have an incredibly good dual stage match trigger that's as good as anything I've ever shot, that I was able to put in place before I filmed the 50 and 100 yard groups you're seeing out here today. Now the first stage is clean and light and short and comes up against a well-defined wall. And with just a little bit more pressure and no roll or creep, off it goes. .1 ounces.
Holy moly, now that's a big woodpecker. That sucker's the size of a chicken. You guys have woodpeckers this big up north? So I don't know about y'all, but we got some big old woodpeckers down here in Florida. Good night. Look at the size of that sucker. Whoop, where are you going? Camera shy.
Alright guys, let's take a closer look at that universal tune I came up with. Using that same JSB 50 grain as my tuning pellet, Reg 1 I left wide open at 2,750 psi, or 189 of 193 available bar. Regulator 1 is called a step-down reg, as it regulates the air pressure that Reg 2 sees, buffering it a bit as it comes off the bottle, so to speak. Now regulator 2 is the reg that the valve sees, and I adjusted it up from 2,000 to 2,175 psi, putting a little bit more pressure on the valve as the hammer smacks it open. This causes the valve to slam shut quicker after the shot cycle, increasing efficiency, cleaning up the shot cycle, and reducing turbulent waste air as it emerges out the muzzle around the pellet or slug. All good things when it comes to enhancing accuracy. Now when you go up on reg pressure from a good place, you normally have to go up on the hammer spring tension a bit, knocking into that valve a little bit harder, as it's now got a little bit more reg pressure pushing on it, wanting to keep it closed. All it took was one click counterclockwise on that hammer spring adjuster, which on the Red Panda coincidentally increases hammer spring tension. Those two adjustments began to balance out my shot string nicely, and got rid of that weird little double bump Reg 1, Reg 2 handoff. But my extreme spread and standard deviation was still a bit wide. Feeling like I had the hammer spring tension and regulator pressure balanced out to harmonious perfection at the velocity I was aiming for, I turned to the Red Panda's transfer port adjuster as a final step. For you car guys out there, think of the transfer port as a catback exhaust. It's the final passageway that the air has to pass through before it sees the back of your pellet or slug. So by choking down on it, you're essentially increasing back pressure back through the entire system, forcing that valve to work even harder as it tries to open, slamming it back shut even quicker. In my case, closing it by 5 hash marks did the trick, and a beautiful, clean, snappy universal tune was born. By the way, can we just talk about how this tune takes Diabolo-shaped pellets and pushes them to damn near 1,000 feet per second and stacks them into a half-inch hole at 100 yards. That's the power of a crisp, clean, snappy, non-wasteful shot cycle. There's just nothing to disrupt the pellet as it leaves the muzzle. Yeah, well, okay, Karma's 1 in 24 twist bull barrel might have had something to do with it. They've definitely got some magic pixie dust infused into that thing. So here's the tunes side by side, guys. Extreme spread and standard deviation across the flat line shrink from 24 and 4.42 to 16 and 3.79. And that flat line of usable shots goes from 60 to 68. Average foot-pounds of energy drops by less than 3, still maintaining 101, and average velocity stays just north of an ideal 950 with a 50 grain. And gone is that Reg 1, Reg 2 handshake shimmy. Here's the flight data on those FX 44.8 grains made by JSB Match Diabolo. Average ballistic coefficient is 0.049. Extreme spread and standard deviation were a bit all over the place, probably because they need to be sorted, at 9 and 3.44 feet per second. Departing velocity was 995-ish, arriving 100 yards away at around 720. Muzzle energy was about 98, and impact energy 100 yards downrange was about 51.
You again. What do you see in my swimming pool? You goofy duck.
Right, guys, got kind of an icky rainy day here in Tampa Bay, so I thought I'd take you through how I clean my airgun barrels quick. For 15 years, I've used nothing but Patchworm by 2020 Concepts, and you'd be hard-pressed to find anything that works better, and it's also very reasonably priced. The kits are caliber specific, 177, 22, 25, 30, and they even offer a universal kit which covers everything up to 12 gauge shotgun, and if I'm not mistaken, the smallest caliber with the universal kit is .22, so if you want a .177, you're going to have to buy the 177 specific kit. The only other thing you'll need other than your Patchworm cleaning kit is some ballistol and some appropriately sized patches. Now the first thing we want to do is cock the gun to open up the breech area. It's always a good idea to put the safety on as well. And next step is going to be to grab our Patchworm string and slide on the caliber specific collar. You'll slide that all the way down the string until it comes up against a little stop right there. And then we'll take one of our cleaning patches, try to pierce it right in the middle of the patch, and slide it all the way down until it hits up against that caliber specific collar, and then lightly coat that cleaning patch in a mist of ballistol. Give it 2 or 3 seconds to kind of soak in and distribute evenly throughout that patch. And then all you got to do is slide the string through the barrel. You'll see it come out here at the muzzle end, and then I do like to take a second and try to line this collar and patch up in a good place so I get a good start over here and can smoothly pull that patch through. And you can feel that really tight pull it gets as it's coming through, because that collar, that size, that caliber specific collar will take that cleaning patch and it will push it really tightly up against the walls of the barrel so you get a perfect fit, and it's going to scrub it clean. Now, I like to take that same patch and turn it inside out to a clean side to reuse it once. And this one will probably slide through with less resistance because our barrel is coated with ballistol now. Yep, nice and slick, but what you can't feel that I can feel as I'm pulling that through the barrel is a high amount of scrubbing resistance, and that's what you want, yet it's super gentle because all we're using is ballistol and a little cleaning patch. All right, now from here I will grab another patch and repeat the same process and keep doing that until they come out clean, and then I'll take a couple more patches that are dry and pull those through the barrel. Now, if I'm setting the gun up for long-term storage, my final pull through the barrel will be of a wet patch so that I'm laying down a nice coat of oil because we are very humid and muggy here in Florida. All right, guys, That's it. That's how I clean my barrels, and this is how you clean the barrel on the Karma Red Panda. Now back to the action. One last thing about this universal tune, guys. It's just that. It's universal, as in non-specific. It's meant to shoot a lot of different stuff reasonably well, in not any one round exceptionally well. So once you settle on a round, tune the gun to shoot its best in high winds on that ammo, meaning you gotta get the speed right. And once you do, clean up the tune by aiming for that snappy shot cycle, and go from there, focusing on sorting and harmonics to extract the last little bit of accuracy. We've got some wind out here today, and these AEA 50.15 grain pellets are said by the manufacturer to perform their best up around 960, 965. And this universal tune shoots them at around 945, 950, in which they still perform pretty darn good. So what's it like to shoot the Karma Red Panda? Cocking and forward cycling is exceptionally slick both ways, and it's shockingly light for the 100 foot-pounds it develops. I've handled guns with stiffer cocking that make just 40. The drop-down lever has a nice bulky feel to it that runs across the fingertips intuitively. The vertical grip allows you to address the trigger blade squarely, which is important. The adjustable and removable thumb pad is also a nice touch, but I never used it. Getting comfy on the Red Panda was easy without, and is assisted quite nicely by the adjustable comb, adjustable butt pad height, adjustable length of pull, and adjustable bag rider. It all works together quite well to get you on the gun just right. All good things when it comes to extracting max accuracy. Not sure if you guys have been keeping count, but I have. That's 18 of 20 pellets and about a half-inch hole at 100 yards so far. And across 4 different brands, non-sorted. Right out of the tin. The Chinese-made bull barrel in the Karma Red Panda is exceptionally kind and forgiving. Those guys really seem to know what they're doing. One little picadillo with loading is that the magazine gets hung up on the tip of the bolt probe. You can see the collision marks in the clear plastic there. The way I got around that was to apply rearward tension to the cocking lever as I loaded the mag, turtling the tip of that bolt probe just enough to slide the mag in. You'll have the same problem extracting the mag, but the circumventing technique you see me applying here quickly became second nature, and after a day didn't bug me anymore. This might be just this gun though. I couldn't tell you. Another one was that my gun came to me missing these 2 screws, and I did all my learning, tuning, and filming without them in place. Which is kind of funny because it didn't seem to affect accuracy any. When I let them know 2 months later, they quickly sent them out to me. Also, this trigger guard screw dropped out of the bottom of the gun after about 1,000 rounds of tuning, but a little blue Loctite fixed that. You guys want to get the duck? Where did you get the duck? Where is he? Is he out there? Okay, go get him. Go get him. The duck. No, not the squirrel, guys. The duck. Come on. Come here. Come here. Boys, it's over here. There you go. Total chaos at the Chalet house. All right, guys, for fill equipment today, and please forgive the raindrops. I keep getting rained on. I'm running an Air Venturi 98 Wingman, 98 cubic foot carbon fiber SCBA tank, a Sabre Tactical valve and gauge, a Sabre Tactical tank tote bag, and an Air Marksman fill whip. Now, the Karma Red Panda has 700 cc's of available shooting air on board, refillable to 300 bar. Those 2 air tubes you see up front there, one of them is an air reservoir and another is a 70 cc plenum. The rest of the air is stored back here in the buttstock. Now, to refill the Red Panda, simply attach your fill whip. Simply attach your fill whip. Everything's a little bit sticky without any oil on it from the rain, and slowly fill to no more than 300 bar. When you're done, bleed the air between your fill source and the gun, and remove your fill whip. That's all there is to it. The bipod I'm using today is the AccuTac FC4G2 Arca Spec QD. It's a total rock and belongs on a gun like this. It can be easily canted from left to right, but the Red Panda's extra wide chassis limits that somewhat. The legs have a built-in, shift-on-the-fly, spring-loaded, articulating leg feature that locks up super nice and tight and is ultra-rigid. And the replaceable screw-in rubber feet are big, wide, and ratcheting, and work great to dampen recoil. If you want to learn more about these made in USA AccuTac precision bipods and accessories, check out my 2025 SHOT Show video, Las Vegas. I spent quite a bit of time in their booth with them and learned lots. They're a remarkable company.
Do it again. I want to see the little motor spin.
Of course. Oh, look at that. The wins are up for this group with the JSB 50.15 grain knockout slug. And while this barrel isn't per se designed for slugs, it actually shoots them pretty well, especially on a universal tune that's not specifically dedicated. And that 1 in 24 is a pretty slow pellet-oriented twist rate, whereas slugs like to be spun up faster to help them stabilize. 1025 is normally a good starting point, then go from there. Here's the group I shot just prior where I forgot to mash record on one of the 3 cameras. And of course it measured .97. So I'm calling that good for 10 in an inch. Look at that ballistic coefficient, 0.099. Extreme spread, 6 feet per second. Standard deviation across the 5 shots, 1.96 feet per second. Leaving the muzzle at 99 foot-pounds of energy, and still holding on to a whopping 73 of that 100 yards later, leaving velocity 942 and impact velocity 810. And you wonder why airgunners like slugs so much. All that and wind resistant too. For optics today, I'm shooting the brand new Integrix scope by Leapers. It's a 4.5 to 27 by 56 first focal plane. They also sent me a 3 to 18 by 44 FFP. This is a $2,800 and $1,700 scope respectively, and is by far the nicest scope I've ever put my eyes through, smashing my rule of always having kept my shared scopes here in the $400 to $800 price point. But it's an appropriate fit for the Red Panda. This is a rifle that's designed to win when big money's on the line, and most all of those guys are running scopes in this price point. So when Leapers brought it up at SHOT Show in January, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. I've got just the gun. So I won't bore you with how everything on it works marvelously, and how the view through it is stunningly bright and clear everywhere, and no matter the conditions and how you have it set. Just know that it's better than even all that. And any words I can come up with just won't do it justice. Another slug that performed is the proudly made in USA Nielsen Specialty Ammo 65.5 grain slug. What was surprising wasn't that it performed, as this brand often does for me, but that it stabilized at a relatively low 815 to 820 feet per second. I've seen that before too, it just isn't common, but the barrel in the Red Panda gets it done. 9 out of 10 sub MOA at 100, but our video's getting a little lengthy as is, so we'll keep moving on. Speaking of proudly made in the USA, these UTG Pro scope mounts by Leapers are carved out in Michigan. And you'll need the 34mm highs to clear the Karma Red Panda's massive magazine with a 34mm tube on the Integrix scope. Ooh, doggy, feast your eyes on that slippery ballistic coefficient. 0.117, extreme spread 7, standard deviation 2.48. Also hitting hard, the NSA 65.5s are leaving at 97 foot-pounds of energy and retaining a crushing 77 of that 100 yards away. Ejection velocity is 816 and arriving velocity is 727.
Oh, how I love it when this happens.
I'd be remiss had I come this far and not Moderator validated the universal tune out of the Red Panda. Generating over 100 foot-pounds of energy, our Red Teddy is loud. Ear-ringingly loud. So I imagine most of you are going to be running Moderators. This one here is the DonnyFL Yokozuna. It's modular, enabling you to tune its length, sound, and performance. It also comes with a nifty quick detach feature, enabling you to just twist it on and off for quick storage. It can also be threaded on and is available with the various adapters. And that's how I like to attach it. And as you can hear, really quiets things down. It makes the Red Panda sound almost toy-like. That hole is not measurable, guys. It's the diameter of the pellet. I think it's safe to say that the Zan 56 grain BR100 pellet is quite happy running the universal tune through a moderator. By the way, guys, this Yokozuna is sized in 30 cal. The Red Panda came to me generating 104 foot-pounds of energy. And even with my universal tune put on the gun, dialing that back to 101, all of that power pushed through a non-baffled shroud is going to create an ear-ringing bang. Fortunately, Karma's cut M18x1 threads into the end of that bull barrel so that you can add an aftermarket moderator of your choosing. This one here is called the Yokozuna, and it's by DonnyFL. And this one here is called a Model 1350. And it's by Impulse Air. Both are being run in competition right now. Ugh. Man, that's heavy. Impulse Air is another one you see a lot around the pro class touring circuit. This one's called the Model 1350, and I shot it in two different sizes today, 30 cal and 357. The 30 cal sized hole worked okay, but the 357 worked better. And that's what you're seeing here now. Like the Yokozuna, it too is modular, so you can tune it for length, sound, and performance. They offer it in some pretty cool colors too. A quick mentionable, guys. If you're interested in this gun, you're probably interested in competing too. And Zan Projectiles just came out with a must-have tool. It's called a pellet sizer. And here's a quick little promo vid I snagged off of his social. You can weigh them, you can sort them, and now you can resize them too. Good stuff. Well, that is all for today, guys. And special thanks to Karma Airguns, DonnyFL, Saber Tactical, The Pellet Shop, Integrix, AccuTac, Leapers UTG Pro, Air Venturi, FX, Patchworm, Impulse Airgun, and the ammo companies Zan Projectiles, JSB Match Diabolo, and Nielsen Specialty Ammo for getting all of this and more into my hands to review for you. You guys know the best way to thank them for that one. Now from here, y'all want to head on over to the Airgun Nation forum so that you can participate in the discussion thread on the Karma Red Panda. I'll leave you a link on how to get there in the description down below. So with that, I'm Steve Shalley. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great week, everyone.